Respectfully Disagree podcast. Back with another one. Oh, before we get started, man, shout out to all my new YouTube subscribers, man. Really appreciate everybody that has subscribed to the channel. Let me take a look at it real quick. Last I checked, we were up to 160 subscribers. Whoa, 161. So shout out to everybody that has hit that subscribe button. I'm kind of mad at myself because I feel like I've always wanted to figure out how to incorporate my sneakers into the channel or podcasts per se, but then I was like, nah, don't mix the two. But I decided to take it a step further, and I was like, you know what, man, I got the camera. What better way to use it than to start doing little small sneaker reviews or whatever. So I did my first one with the LeBron 7 FAMU Black, and man, I'm up to like 600 and something views, gained like 30 something subscribers in like a week. So definitely appreciate that, man. Like I said, that's something that I'm looking forward to now. I actually was excited doing that, getting some feedback on it. So that's where we're at. So like I said, man, kudos to y'all checking out the video, checking out the page. Hopefully y'all are listening to the podcast. Again, it's found on YouTube, of course, all streaming services, SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. But today, man, I want to talk about something. It's going to be quick, just kind of food for thought, you know, something my wife put on my mind the other night. And I've thought about this before, but never to the degree in which I'm getting ready to go with tonight. And that is, how often do we take pictures and videos of loved ones just for the sake of having? And does technology take away from that? And what I mean by that is, like, with the more advancement of technology, it's like we're always trying to find ways to make things easier, try to make life more simple, more convenient. But is that coming with a cost in the end? And I had to sit down and I had to think about it the other night. And I was just saying to myself, I was like, dang, like, in reality, we're all like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, modern technology, you know, it's the wave of the future. It's like simplify everything. But at the same time, we don't think about all the things that's been in place that wasn't broken per se. And before I dive into what I'm talking about, just give an example that really sticks out is self-checkout. It's like, you know, nowadays you can't go in a Walmart where it's not completely modified to like almost 90% self-checkout. I know the one here that's right up the street from where we live at, it's like they pretty much gutted every register and everything is now self-checkout. It might be like one little person that sits on the end and, you know, manually checks people out. But outside of that, like, everything now is self-check. And I'm saying to myself, it's like, it might be convenient to a boardroom where it's like now you don't physically have to pay people to sit there and check people out in a sense. So it's like, okay, here's this one-time fee to, you know, renovate and add all these self-checkout registers, and you pay whatever that little fee is, but in the long run, you're saving the money of actual people. But I'm saying to myself, it's like the cost I feel like is you lose that personal engagement, like just being social with people. Not to mention, it's like, okay, now those machines have actually replaced a person. So somebody lost their job in a sense to a machine. So it's like, is that technically a good thing, or is that just something that's cost efficient for the company? Or you think about Uber Eats, and now you can put in a request to have somebody do your grocery shopping for you, and then you just pull up curbside and they just bring it to the car. And it's like all of these things, man, it's like all it does in my eyes is create even more lazy citizens, lazy people. Like, if we got too much, I mean, like, not too much time, but it's like we're so busy to where we don't have enough time in the day to literally get up and go grocery shopping. Like, you can't take 30 minutes to go into the grocery store and walk around and pick up your items. You're going to pay somebody to do it for you. And it's like, where are we going as a people? Because it's like, damn, like, how many people have you met just walking in a grocery store? Hey, how you doing? Oh, hey, you look like such and such. Don't I know you from somewhere? Oh, yeah, I know such and such. And you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you just meet and greet people, man. Just social interaction. And y'all wonder why these kids don't have people skills or antisocial and things like that. It's like you don't know how to talk to one another because, A, you've made everything so convenient to where you don't have to talk to anybody. Shout out to one of the kids on the basketball team. Literally today, they came up and they was like, Coach, when you was my age, did you ever like girls? And I was like, yeah. He's like, so what did you do? He's like, there's this girl that I like, but I don't know how to tell her. And I'm saying to myself, I was like, oh, Lord. Like, first of all, it kind of made me feel awkward. So I was like, dang, like, man, I'm an old guy now. These little fourth graders coming to me for advice. But I told him, I was like, you know what? I said, man, Valentine's Day is right around the corner. I was like, man, why don't you get a Valentine's Day card, put some little candy in or something and write it down. And that way you kind of eliminate having to physically come up and say it. And, you know, that in a sense is like, that's a part of human interaction. It's like, but nowadays it's like everything is on the phone, text message, jump in the DMs. And it's just like, dang, like, where are we going? But I'm saying all that because the other night, my wife, you know, she was at my mother-in-law's, and her brother had came across some old VCR tapes from when they were, you know, kids and younger and, you know, things like that. It was a big old box full of VCR tapes. And, you know, for those that don't know, my wife lost her father. Aubrey will be 11. So Super Bowl weekend is going to be 11 years. You know, that's something that, you know, unfortunately, Super Bowl is going to always remind us of that time of year. But like I said, it's been, you know, going on 11 years now. And my wife saw those tapes. And she was talking about how, you know, at first it went from, you know, they was laughing and enjoying it, having a good time. And then certain footage kind of triggered that emotion and that, you know, she had to walk away so the kids wouldn't see or whatnot. And like I told her, I was like, you know, that's a natural reaction. There's nothing wrong with that. But I was like, on the flip side, and this is what my episode is about tonight, it's like, I'd give anything to have access to some old footage, tapes, pictures of my mother. You know, this is going on the 3rd year since I lost my mom. And I come from a family that didn't take pictures. we didn't have any VCR, camcorders and things like that to record those moments growing up. Unfortunately, we just didn't have the means to have it. But I'm saying to myself, it's like, dang, like nowadays everything is on the cell phone. So it's like the last few months of my mother is in my phone. My mother moved up here to Louisville with us, and, we was trying our best to help her get the proper care, see some better doctors from, up in this area compared to where she was at. And all I have left is those few weeks or few months of just us going back and forth to the doctors and things like that. And I was just saying to myself, I was like, dude, like I don't have anything. And if I ever lost this phone or something happened to this phone, all of that is gone. And I'm saying, I was saying to my wife, I was just like, as painful as it might be to watch and to look at that, it was like, there's still some good in it. And always understand that it's like, it's some people that don't have none of that. And I was just like, dang, like, man, like, like, what do people do now? Like, everything is on the phone. It's like you don't have that VCR or DVD that you can pop in. And it's just like, is it more convenient to just have everything stored on your phone? Because I don't feel like it is. And that's where, my respectfully disagree comes in at, because it's like, okay, if me and the kids want to sit down and watch, some old footage in my phone of, mom and this and that, it's like, okay, either A, we all got to huddle around the phone, or I can try to, mirror to the TV. And it's like, to me, it's such an inconvenience. Whereas like if I had a tape or something, the kids could always pop it in and go watch it, versus having to wait for me to come home with my phone or whatever. It's like, oh, well, you can save it here or save it there. And it's just like, I don't know. I think it provides more of an inconvenience. But it's just like, it just put me in a deep thought, because I was just like, man, if I could give anybody any advice for those that are listening, it's like, don't take the small things for granted. If you get the urge to take a picture, whether it's, the kids are being silly or, something so small, and you was just like, I ain't taking no picture of that. Nah, do it. Do it, because you never know what can happen. And sometimes those are the memories, the only things left that people can hold on to. And like I said, I don't have any family photos or things like that. And I did an episode a while back talking about an item that I purchased. For those that have been listening to the podcast, I was talking about something that I spent, a nice amount of money on, and I was waiting for it to arrive. And it's funny how everything happens for a reason, because it actually showed up the day that my mother passed, which was December the 20th of 2020. So I told myself I was just going to wait till Christmas to open it. And, sure enough, the painting came out amazing. I'll be sure to share it here. Matter of fact, I'll post it up here while I'm talking about it. I was extremely satisfied with the artwork. Loved it. I have it down here on my basement wall. So every morning when I come down here, that's the first thing I see as soon as I come down. And it was so hard to find a photo, because like I said, we never took family pictures or anything like that. And I just so happened to come across a picture from my brother's wedding day. And I had her, paint that picture so that way I can actually have it here, keep it. If anything ever happens, I know at least my kids will have something that they can keep or cherish and hand down. But outside of that, it's like, I would give anything to come across a box of VCR tapes of just old memories, childhood, holidays, family reunions, things like that. I'm sure other family members that had camcorders back then, they have that footage. But it's just one of them things where it's like, we never really had those conversations to where, hey, you man, I got some old tapes of, your mom when she was whatever. So to me at this current moment in time, it's like, I don't have that. And that's why I'm saying it's like, dang, like, is it a good thing that technology continues to move forward, or is it a bad thing? Because now it's just like we try our best to simplify everything, not realizing that, again, like I said, maybe it wasn't broken. Of course, we don't want them old school camcorders where you had to sit that joint up on your shoulder. You ain't want the big one, but it's like, damn, like, okay, you got to think. Then they started making the little handheld ones. Now you got the cameras where it's like super, super tiny. You can hold it in the palm of your hand. Or you got the little ones where like you can kind of clip on, you know what I'm saying? Like you can do your little GoPros and all that. And it's like, you want to make everything smaller for convenience. But it's like, if I wanted to sit down and watch it, now it's like, okay, I got to get something so I can convert it to the TV. I got to get this so I can do this and do that. And it's like, man, easy's not always the best solution, in my opinion. Self-checkout. Everything now, man. Uber Eats. Like, you don't even, like, people are so lazy now to where it's like, I'll pay somebody to bring me something to eat. It's crazy. But I said, man, y'all let me know y'all thoughts on that, man. Like I said, the whole purpose of me doing this little small episode was just to say that, you know what, like, man, you never know. All them little moments that y'all think nobody cares about, you'll be amazed at the difference it would make when you look at it later on down the line. And I know Facebook is good for that. A lot of the Facebook Live and memories and stuff like that. A lot of people is like, oh, I don't share everything on social media. I hate people that post a lot and But it's like, okay, you never know when you wake up and it's at, 5 years ago on this day, this happened. And then it takes you down memory lane. It's like, my wife and I, we like to sit back and look at some of the old videos of Christmas, when the kids were younger and things like that. And some of those birthdays and stuff, my mom was actually present. So it's like, okay, I can always lean on Facebook to provide that. But it's like, Lord behold, if something happens to Facebook, then what? You know what I'm saying? Growing up, everybody was on MySpace and stuff like that. It's like, dude, I couldn't tell you my MySpace password. I don't know what MySpace even looks like. So what happens if Facebook ever goes away? It's like everything in Facebook, like years and years and years of memories would be washed down the drain. So it's like, man, you just got to figure that out, bro. Always, that's one thing I can't say about my wife. Like, she's always preaching about trying to build memories. And you don't really think about it until it's too late. And I get it now. It's like, damn, like, it's a lot of things as a child we didn't necessarily do in terms of traditions and things like that, and making sure we built everlasting memories. So that's what I wanted to talk about tonight. And man, shout out to my brother-in-law for coming across that box of tapes, because our kids have never met their grandfather. They didn't have the opportunity to meet him. Said my wife was pregnant with Aubrey when he passed. So, they've never seen him. Of course, they've heard my wife talk about him, their aunts and uncles, their grandmother talk about him. But it's not the same as sitting down watching a tape. And now you get to physically see him, hear his voice, see him, see who he was, fun, loving, dancing with everybody. It's like, that's one thing that now hopefully my wife understands that it's like, okay, even though they didn't get to meet him, they have the opportunity now to sit down and watch that at any given moment to get a better understanding of who he was as a man. They know he was a police officer and things like that. So that now can give them a better sense. And in terms of my mother, it's like my mother built a great bond with them to the point to where now, you know, they remember her. They talk about going to visit and things like that. So hopefully that's something that they'll take with them for as long as they live. But that's what I'm saying. It's like we don't have no tapes or nothing. So hopefully nothing ever happens to Facebook and we won't have to go through that in terms of losing it all. But that's what I'm saying. It's like, you know, that's the question that I want to leave everybody with. Is it more convenient to just have everything stored and trapped into these cell phones? Or is it more beneficial to have those old VCR tapes, DVDs, almost kind of like vinyl records? You know what I'm saying? You know how some people could collect old vinyls and things like that. But it's like now, you know what I'm saying? Like nobody uses CDs. They don't even make cars with CD players and things like that anymore. So it's like, damn, like, what about the people who have tons and tons and tons of CDs, old records, like classics? Like, not every album is available on streaming services. So it's like, if I wanted to get in my car and listen to something that's not available on streaming, I wouldn't even be able to do it. And I get it. It's like, you know, time advances. What is it called? 8-track. You know, we went from that, cassette, CDs, so far and so forth, whatever. So on and so forth. But it's like, is that really convenient? You're trying to simplify everything. And it's like, you want music to be right here at our fingertips. So, boom, Bluetooth in the car. You got access to anything imaginable. But there are a few things that's not available. Oh, I saw a video online the other day. I was wanting to listen to the old Play a Fly, Moving On album, and that's not available on streaming. So I had to go to YouTube. But it's like, okay, if I want to listen to it in my car, then what? Let YouTube play on my phone the whole ride? It's like, come on, man. It's like, that's crazy. So that's what I leave to y'all, man. Just something to think about, man. Just always be mindful and be thankful for everything and try your best to create those memories because you never know. You never know. And it could be life-changing later down the road. The simplest little things. And if you have the capability to record it, like you don't always have to share it to social media or things like that, but just always have it somewhere. So if somebody comes across it, you never know how you can change somebody's day. So anyways, y'all let me know your thoughts, opinions. A little small episode to get out. It's a short week, man. Yesterday was MLK Day. Dallas Cowboys beat the brakes off the Buccaneers. Shout out to Coach. Shout out to Coach, man. Tom Brady going home, man. I tried to tell y'all a couple weeks ago, Buccaneers wasn't good this year, man. But anyways, man, it's a short week, man. We'll try to get this out. Got another package coming in the mail. I'm going to do another review. Actually do a LeBron 7 collection video, man. Like I said, I was excited. 30 new subscribers. I told people once the subscribers start going up, give me some feedback, man. We're going to start taking this channel somewhere else. So that's going to be me paying my respects to the LeBron line, to LeBron, Bron gang. And I'm going to show my LeBron 7 collection, man. I got some gems in there. So y'all hit that like, share, subscribe, comment. Follow the podcast on Instagram. I Respectfully Disagree podcast, man. Check it out on YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. And sky's the limit, man. Also, real quick, man, shout out to the Cochran Cats, man. We had another big test this week. And kids came out on top, man. So far we're 8-0. We got 3 regular season games left, and then we head into the tournament. So shout out to the kids, man. Just it's a slow grind, and just trying to make sure we cross that finish line, man. Like that was the goal this year, to try to win the championship. And I've told people all the time, it's like, if we don't win, cool. Just as long as we know that the kids learned something and had fun while they were doing it, I'm cool with that. But like I said, man, we here now, man. 8-0, man. Let's try to finish strong. So anywho, man, we out. Appreciate y'all checking out the podcast, man.
Ass toasted, no competition. I'm Misha coasting. I feel so high, I feel so live. My body